Back about 4 years ago.
During the wildfires, we were preparing the Coliseum to serve as a mass housing facility in case there were people who were displaced.
Well, I was responsible for all the staffing and making sure that we had the people working the different parts of the EOC. And during the course of that, one of the days that we were out there, a police officer came up to me with a money clip, and it had $90-something in it. And he said, somebody just turned it into him, and could I manage to get around to the people that were working the event there and see if it belonged to one of them.
At some point during those operations, I lost my money clip, and I didn't realize it until I got home one evening and I was emptying my pockets and I couldn't find it. And I was a little concerned about it, but just a little, because I figured, like it always had, it would turn up again at some point. And then at some point you realize it's lost, it's gone. You're never going to see it again.
The event lasted several different days, and at the end of the event, I still had the money clip. Nobody had claimed it, so I brought it back to the office and put it in my desk drawer. Based on the sentiment that was on the money clip, I felt like it had to mean something to someone. It said, "New beginnings, love, Dad," and it was, I envisioned that this meant a great deal to someone.
I was estranged from my father for much of my young adulthood. The day that we actually saw each other in person for the first time since my high school graduation, he gave me a money clip. It was a very nice gold money clip, and on the back of it was engraved the words, "New Beginnings, August 24th, 1999, love, Dad." Shortly after I joined the city, my father passed away, and that money clip was one of the few connections that I actually had with my dad.
And so I held on to it and decided, you know, I'm going to find this owner, because I just envisioned that it was going to be somebody that perhaps came to the rodeo. Fast forward 4 years, and yesterday I was standing in the hallway talking with one of our employees, and we were talking about some of the upcoming events, and the rodeo came up, and it reminded me that, oh my goodness, it's rodeo time, I got to look about the money clip. So I started asking him, because it was Anthony Wilson, who's our public information officer, and I said, you know, I've got this item that was turned into me back when we worked the Wildcat Fire. And he said, "Oh, you do?" And I said, "Yeah, and I've had it now all this time, and I really want to find the owner of it. And I'm thinking maybe public information, you all could help me get the word out, because it's really important. I want to get this back to this person." And so he said, "Well, what is it?" And I said, "Well, it's a money clip."
And I was just like shocked. And I said, "Lisa, that's mine." And she said, "What does it look like?" And so I described it to her. And she said, "Oh my God, Anthony, that is yours." And so we went up to her office, and she opened the drawer, and there it was. I just broke down and cried, because I could not believe that there it was after all these years. And like I said, I lost my dad 7 years ago, and this money clip is one of the last connections that I had to him. So, I mean, I just hugged her, and I just couldn't believe that I had it back.
It was just the inscription that was so touching that I knew it had to mean something to someone. And even if the money weren't in it, it would have been important for them to get that money clip back. And I wanted whoever this belonged to realize there's honest people out there. They're not going to spend a single cent in it. Every bill stayed in place in the money clip all those years. It never got taken out. And I just wanted them to know how important that was.
I immediately took a picture of it, and I put on my Facebook page just talking about what a miracle it was, and thanking God and thanking Lisa Marley, and thanking God for Lisa Marley.
I know it's heartwarming, and I know it was really important to him based on his reaction, and that's what makes it so important to me that, you know, it got home, it got to where it's supposed to go. So
one of the things that just strikes me about this whole instance is just the good, honest decency of my friend and my colleague, Lisa Marley. I mean, to think that she kept this in her desk for 4 years, and it had $93 in it, and it still has $93 in it, folded up just the way it was, still as crisp as it was 4 years ago. And just to think that, you know, she kept that there in hopes that at some point she'd be able to find the owner of it. And the irony is that I've been in her office, sitting there in her office 3 feet away from this, scores of times over the last several years, and it was just so close. I could have reached out and touched it, and it's just a tiny little miracle that it found its way back to me yesterday.